Disney superfans are up in arms at legendary Imagineer Tony Baxter, not because he says Splash Mountain should absolutely make a comeback, but rather because he dared use AI in a presentation where they were invited to hear from the genius himself. Today, we'll weigh in on whether or not you should cancel folks over AI, or if it's the Luddites out there who need to reconsider everything they're doing before it's too late. Welcome back to That Park Place, folks, where all the news should be fun, and we're having a very fun conversation today with some folks on the panel that you've never seen before right here on this channel. What a great time! Click the like button, and let's dive into a very important conversation that, frankly, all of us around the world need to be having right now. All right, folks, take a look at this. It is from Eric 2. And it has to do with Tony Baxter, a Disney legend, and AI. Hang tight, we'll explain why. It says here at the Lucasfilm Letterman Digital Arts Center for a Walt Disney Family Museum event with Disney legend and Imagineer Tony Baxter, behind the creation of Indiana Jones Adventure. Now, to explain all that, because that's a lot to say, eh? Tony Baxter, legendary Imagineer who developed the Indiana Jones attraction at Disneyland. He, also the designer for Splash Mountain, stopped on by Lucasfilm Letterman Digital Arts Center to give a lecture on how that attraction was developed and talk about his thoughts and do a Q&A. And yes, by the way, when they came up and asked his questions about what he would like to see return to Disney, he did say Splash Mountain. So go, Tony, go. Laughing Place covered it this way. Disney legend Tony Baxter had some hot takes at the Walt Disney Family Museum yesterday. In the word adventure and experience names. He does not like Buzz Lightyear. The most recent wow moment he had at the theme park was entering the Ministry of Magic Epic Universe. Lauren, I think you can agree with that one, eh?
Yeah, it was incredible.
And Splash Mountain is the attraction he wishes they would bring back the most. Now, you would think that last one would be the headline catcher, and everybody out there would be talking about a Disney legend is supporting Splash Mountain, which, by the way, still exists in Japan, and it is exceedingly popular. They're not getting rid of it, right? But you know what people are talking about instead? Can you believe the Mouse Gamer? 487 likes on this, which, you know, I'm not trying to say this is not a well-known thing that happened, but it's not at the forefront of everything Disney does. Mouse Gamer says the Tony Baxter talk at ILM about developing Disneyland's Forbidden Eye attraction was really cool. Until he revealed he actually AI generated one of the posters in the presentation and then showed us a ton of crappy AI generated videos he made of Indiana Jones and his cat. Oh no, you had to sit and listen to a Disney legend, but then you found out that somewhere, some way, he used a wee bit of AI. Oh no, you say. Fast Company says, though, that Disney Imagineers are using AI and robotics to reshape the company's theme parks. AI is being completely embraced by Disney. Guys, I want to go to you on this topic because it's a big topic and it's one that we dance around at times, but I don't want to dance anymore. There are those out there, and I don't know if they're Luddites. I don't know if they're right. I don't know if they understand something we don't. Maybe Skynet is coming, but Andrew, there are people out there that if they figure out there's a single thing that ever touched AI, they say boycott, 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 let it rot. They're only about humans having done it at all. But I think secretly they're using ChatGPT. What say you, Andrew?
I'm very familiar with these people, especially when I cover other topics like the VTubing community. Like there's a huge thing with artists there and wanting them to be real artists instead of people using AI. I think that's very, you use the proper word, Luddite approach to it, because you're not going to be able to stop this at this point. It is inevitable, right? And I think that, you know, that perspective is just not going to be a prevailing one because it's going to happen at stages of the process, right? You're not going to be able to exclude this. That said, I think there's always going to be a market, and you can make a niche market for, okay, we produce this a different way. In the same way, you might film something with a different lens, or, you know, do something in an antiquated way. You know, you have artisan chocolates, right? Or, you know, organically sourced stuff. There'll be, you know, a niche market for this was made without AI, but that's going to be a niche market. And let's be honest, because it's just cost of production in terms of the overall business side of it. It just doesn't make sense not to use AI. I mean, even in the law firm context, right? Majority of law firms are now using AI to do certain tasks, right? Because it's just more efficient. So it's going to come, it's going to happen. And I think people need to not flip out over it, because it's not going to be prevented from ultimate use. There may be, once again, some issues about what it's trained on, but AI is not going to be in any way, sense, or form banned from any form of content creation.
And Wizard, I've talked about Moore's Law before and the exponential rise of some of these technologies and how AI is actually an exponential on top of an exponential. I was listening to one of the guys who's on the Moonshots podcast with Peter Diamandis today. I can't remember his name. He was doing a separate interview. He said, and I don't have a way to verify this, but it feels right based on what we're watching happen. He said that we've never seen anything like AI before because it's currently doubling in its power every 18 weeks. That is insane. And I don't see how this argument is going to hold up. Like, I don't see how people who want to fight AI every day are going to handle that by December.
It's going past art. Art was just like the preliminary, and you get canceled for using it for any kind of art.
That's a great point.
It doesn't matter about the AI art, okay, when everybody's losing their jobs. People are already losing their jobs. Give it 500 more days from right now, from the time you're watching this video, 500 more days, and just see how many more jobs have been lost because of AI. It's coming down to it. Your morality here, like, all right, you have sentiments of where the AI is coming from. Okay, those are conversations to be had. You want to discuss philosophy, but now it's becoming irresponsibility to not keep up with AI, because you're putting yourself and your family in a sticky situation to not keep up with where we're going as adversely a society, but also as an economy. Okay, right. Everything in every facet of life is moving towards AI, and it is basically your responsibility to know what's going on, to be aware of it.
Okay, yeah. Coach, let me get you in, but real quick, but I want to make this point fast. You've got the government now, you've got all governments around the world talking about universal basic income, or as Elon Musk calls it, what is it, high income? I don't remember. Anyway, the situation we have, you either can go blue collar right now and be a welder, a plumber, whatever, right? Roofers now are the most prestigious among us. Or if you're going to be a white collar person, if you're going to do something that's on a computer and AI is going to lap you in 100 different ways, you can either take advantage of AI and 10x your production, or you are in the dust in less than 12 months. You are gone in less than 12 months.
Well, and again, that's why a lot of pushback on the infinite immigration systems globally. The Western civilizations woke up and said, we don't want these low effort humans in our society. We want them no longer to be allowed in or imported, which was what was happening under the previous administration. This is not just happening here in the United States. It's happening in Japan specifically, and many other Asian countries. They've recognized that unchecked immigration is not to their benefit. They're already suffering a population collapse, right? They understand they need to provide for their citizenry, to be good stewards of them, to be excellent representatives of them. They need to not allow for the unfettered, unfiltered exodus of humanity from all the despot areas of the globe. And this is why, again, AI, it can be used responsibly. I agree with Andrew on that, but I think at the same time, it does depend on the models they're trained upon. Anthropic uses the worst possible choices of models because Wiki gets in there, and Wiki's one of the worst. Anything from Wikipedia. They use Reddit, which is opinion generated baloney sausage. Right. Whereas Grok is like visually based. This is the thing that differentiates everything Elon Musk has been doing in the area of AI versus everybody else. The context is in the visualization and the experience of everyday use, whether it be from a car's perspective or robot's perspective or any of these other places. It's verifiable information that they actually utilize on a daily basis. This is going to be the differentiation between successful AI modeling and pretend time, as Fake Wizard was talking about a moment ago.
If we have now, we're in a circumstance where we have a Disney legend using AI just in demonstrations. We're there. We're here. It's go time. Get ready. That's what everybody should be taking away from this, not condescending about, the morality uses of AI. It's like, oh, lock and load, everybody. It's AI time.
Well, I'll tell you this. So Wiz, and you'll know about this. I was talking with a coder the other day, programmer, right? And he said, everything else AI, if you're not programming with AI, if you're not prompting code, you're out. And he said, I'm 10xing, 20xing what I could do a year ago.
And that's what people aren't looking at. They're all focusing on the art side, but they're like not looking at the code. They're not using, looking at using UI or other implementations that are just not on the face. We all focus on art because that's what we see generated on X, and that's what we see generated on YouTube, et cetera. But that's just a small piece of it. What's going on overall with AI.
It's the lowest resolution observance of what's happening.
Well, it's something people can see visually, right? I mean, Andrew understands this at a different level. So does Fake Wizard, and it's the background. It's the things we can use to build other things. It's the same reason why Claude Code, like actually leaking into the public a few days ago, was like backbreaking. It's why the understanding of what Google just, revealed about the ability to use less memory, right? You're not going to have a giant memory hog or a GPU requirement in AI going forward. These are all new developments. And when you look at what Tesla's developing with their own fabrication facilities, consider the future and the fact that they're going to go out and collect infinite power because they're going to send the AI to space, which means that, cooling is not a problem anymore, and neither is power gathering. I'm sorry. There's a reason everything's happening the way it is right now.
Well, there's a reason that companies have to do this. And so, Lauren, as we look at what Disney's doing, Disney is no longer hiding. They're going all in on AI. They have to. All of these companies must. This is what we've decided as well. People are saying, oh, don't use AI, bro. And it's like, no, if Elon's going all in and he says, I can't be on the sidelines, we can't be on the sidelines. There's no way to remain on the sidelines. We're going to see transformation over the next however many years.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I always do. When you say, if Elon Musk says that we can't be on the sidelines, then we can't be on the sidelines.
Well, that's how you
Sure you can. Yes, you can.
Your harem to me every day. I say, Lord, how many women do you need? And you say, well, Elon has them.
You can be on the sidelines as much as you like. There are always alternatives. That said, though, I think the ridiculousness of the AI argument when people are saying that you can't use it is, well, who gets to decide what you get to use it for? Because it's perfectly acceptable in some areas and yet somehow not acceptable in others. And the main area of contention seems to be in art. But when you look at the art world, every new style that ever comes about is always mocked and derided by those people in the art field until it's not. You had realism, and then you had an impressionism. And people hated impressionism because it wasn't realism until they accepted it. And later on, you got modern art that everybody said was trash. And cubism, don't get me started. But it's all art. And eventually it gets accepted as just another tool, another method of production. I think you can sit on the sidelines if you want to. I think it's foolishness, in my opinion, to put all of your eggs in one basket. I think the idea that everybody is using AI and thus we all must be using AI is not really a good idea, because I think there's going to be areas where AI is probably not as good at some things as it may appear to be initially. When you start seeing failures occur, that's when you have to reevaluate. And so I'm more in the middle of this argument than I think a lot of people are.
Andy, help us. Okay, we've got varying views here, and you have the opportunity, sir. It rests upon your shoulders to bring it all together for us. Andy, what's the truth of all of it?
This is a family show, so I won't say the actual words, but to paraphrase Dana White, who cares? It's here to stay. You're not getting rid of it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's only going to get better. It's going to become better than, and so you better learn how to use it. You better learn how to integrate it into your things. And in the long run, people are, if it costs less, if you could, imagine if this could make your ticket sales drop back down to, like, I don't know, $6 a ticket or something like that to go to the movies, which obviously would never happen. But once that happens, where it starts to affect the expense and things to everyone across the board, AI is going to be, I remember a couple of years ago, there was the head of the Longshoremen's Union who threatened to bring the whole country to a standstill over robots going into unloading ships. it's going to happen. There used to be a guy who carved wagon wheels, and he went out of business when the automobile came along and they made it out of metal. It's just the way of the future. It's like you're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. It's only going to get better very, very quickly. And you're going to get to a point where people can't the way people will tell that something's not AI is it just doesn't look as good. It'll be like it won't be as photorealistic or something. It won't be like you'll be able to tell something with it. I believe that there will, and I hope, as myself as an artist, I hope there always will be someone who appreciates something that's handcrafted and handmade by an actual human being. But we have to learn to live with this. We have to learn to figure out ways to use it. I think that you're going to have actual storytellers, like Lauren hit on this earlier. You're going to get people cutting their teeth on this, and storytellers that learn how to use it. And the difference between a good storyteller using AI and the guy in his basement that isn't a good storyteller using AI is going to be a world of difference. What's going to be in the future when this thing, because we're going to get AI, then we're going to get AGI, artificial general intelligence, which in about a week will create artificial superintelligence. And it's going to happen. Now, after that, if we get Skynet, we won't have to worry about it anyway. So just kind of sit back and look at what happens.
Oh, my gosh. Stop wishing for the Matrix, Andy. Come on.
I will say that.
What do you mean wishing? We're in it.
I will say that I have strong confidence that humans have a place, of course. And I think artists probably have the most place. And the reason I think that is because they have the least to worry about. I think that's because when I watch humans playing chess against each other, and which I don't do often, but I see it online sometimes, people are watching humans play chess. They're not watching the computer play against another computer simulation. I think if you're a performer, I think if you're an artist, people are going to be very interested in what humans can do there. If it comes to coding, I'm not so sure. And so I would say that if it's a human endeavor, people are very interested in pushing the limits of what humans can do and watching that come true. And they're interested in the story about their favorite stars and athletes doing that. So in that regard, I think there'll be a place for live theater, live musicians, for live art displays and all kinds of things. But I think total transformation. I think the technological singularity turns out to be true. And I think we're at the edge of that right now. And the next 10 years are going to be remarkable in terms of what happens and how the world changes. Guys, any final thoughts before we wrap this one up? Everybody good? Everybody's done?
Rock and roll.
Well, I have one last question, and this is for you specifically, Pro.
What do you got?
With Sora wrapping up its effective use and, its desire to, move forward, and OpenAI as a company being put on notice, by not only investors who would give them billions of dollars, but also by an industry that they've obviously fallen very far behind. Do you think OpenAI survives as an effort going forward, or do you think that the retention of probably one of the worst minds in AI was a very bad plan? I
think it survives. I don't know about Altman being in charge of it. The reason Sora is gone is not because of an AI bubble or because video gen is less than. It's because Grok Imagine came in and absolutely ate its lunch. So did Google Veo, and so did Seedance. And so OpenAI had to make a decision inside their company. What are they going to focus on? Because their app completely and totally collapsed in the face of competition that was simply better. It's a strategic decision by some of those companies to own their own data centers. And OpenAI doesn't have their own data centers, and they're at a significant disadvantage going forward because of it. So that's where we are with that. We'll see how it plays out, but the race is on right now. And the Colossus supercomputer that Elon owns is going to be a major advantage. This new terafab thing that he's doing is just crazy, 50xing the number of chips that we produce in a single year. It's got Taiwan on notice. It's got NVIDIA on notice. Hey, everybody, I think we're all on notice now, but leave Tony Baxter alone. He's a legend. And if he wants to use AI to generate an image for a little PowerPoint, folks, he's a genius. Stop screwing around with whether or not he uses AI. Listen to the man who knows more than almost anyone and can make great things, if only we'll turn back to those who know how to do so.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.